Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. There's another paid request. Request? I don't know what the hell that means. Request. If I learn how to talk, I'll keep that in. Request. Gia sent in a paid request for me to do a commentary on the 1978 film Halloween. I figure a horror film, might as well have this in the dark. Think it fits the mood. For those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos or topics, reactions, randomness, out of the blueness, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. It could be ranking list, reaction, whatever it may be. And let's get started. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. A Compass International Pictures release. And then we have Mustafa Akkad, who's no longer with us. But he was producing the Halloween films for quite a while. He's the guy that pretty much said you can't kill Michael Myers when he went later on in the sequels, which was one of the big mistakes. Donald Pleasence in John Carpenter's Halloween, because Donald Pleasence was the biggest name at this point. I mean, he had been in a James Bond movie. You Only Live Twice as Blofeld, which was the inspiration for Dr. Evil and Austin Powers. Jamie Lee Curtis, which has definitely catapulted her career. First into doing films like Road Games, Terror Train, Prom Night, and then years later doing Trading Places and moving on from there. She was in that movie with John Travolta, leading up to, True Lies, Freaky Friday, all that stuff. Deborah Hill, who was for quite a few years was with John Carpenter, then they split. She's no longer with us. Dean Cundy was a cinematographer for a lot of Carpenter films and would work with people like Robert Zemeckis and a lot of big-time filmmakers. Of course, John Carpenter doing the music, classical score. Well, not classical, but it's a great score. That's why it's a classic score. Tommy Wallace, production designer. Who's Tommy Lee Wallace, who would go on to be a director of himself. Directed Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, and Stephen King's It, the 1990 miniseries. This was done on such a small budget. I think the original title was like The Babysitter Murders. This is around the time that John Carpenter, the best he could find work was doing like a TV movie. Because he had done Assault on Precinct 13, and that didn't really do well in the US. Did a little bit of decent business in the UK. I forget if it was Donald Pleasence or someone did the film because their kid liked some of John Carpenter's music and Assault on Precinct 13. And I know Christopher Lee was approached to be Dr. Loomis, but he said no, and then I think later on he regretted it. He did regret. Because no one expected much when this film came out. In fact, when it came out, it did not get the best reviews. And then like a few higher profile critics went, hey, this is actually pretty good. And they go, what? They said that? Let me give this another watch. And then I did when it was like initially released, it didn't do anything, but then this fervor kind of started, and I don't know if I want to say it got a re-release, but oh yeah, here we have the quickest sex scene in movie history, because they went up, and literally this is like the quickest sex scene ever. So the guy must be like not even a 2-minute man. 30-second man. That means you pull down your pants and you come in your underwear. So that's probably what this guy is. So she probably wasn't satisfied. Now the POV stuff was done before you had Black Christmas. a film that came out a few years before with Bob Clark directing that. Bob Clark, who's no longer with us, but he would go on to direct A Christmas Story and Porky's. But he had done Black Christmas, which was a slasher film with this POV style aesthetic. Although I will be honest, I like Halloween more. Like, look how, like, the sex scene's already done. Like, how long was that sex scene? Like, they went up and now he's put his shirt on. How long was that sex scene? 30 seconds? I mean, that's like, that'd be the shittiest sex scene ever. So, yeah, I don't... But I always thought the POV stuff was actually rather... Of course, that would be utilized a lot in slasher films after this. Because 2 years later, you have Friday the 13th, we utilized that, which this heavily inspired Friday the 13th. Some would say rip off. And then after that, just almost every week there's a slasher film. I would say that was kind of that was a cool cut, grabbing the mask and then boom, wearing a POV. And then you have to have the height of a child. I know Tom Savini himself is not a fan of the film. Because there's these guys I listen to, good guys, deadpit.com, CT and Uncle Bill. They interviewed Tom Savini years and years and years ago, and he mentioned how he was not a fan of the film, and he had issues with this scene. Also the scene with the knife that goes into the guy. He's like, well, how could the guy's body be standing, like, hung just by this knife? And I'm like, well, dude, you did Friday the 13th. There's a lot of... That's where a fucking 7-year-old woman somehow is John Rambo. But... of course, that's supposed to be the big reveal that this was a little kid all along. I like that the mom is just standing there with her hands in her pockets. Which is a bit weird when you think about it. Like, the mom just like... you're punishing him, not me. It's just... but I mean, it works for the scene. Now we're going to have the escape. And sorry, Rob Zombie, no, I don't have an issue with how did he learn how to drive. But they even asked that, and Loomis has that, I don't know, maybe someone gave him lessons. Again, it's funny Rob Zombie has a problem with that logic, but then there's like 10 other things about that film, like, I don't know, having two fucking rapists try to rape a comatose woman in the room of a 7-foot tall giant who has killed his family back in the day. Even my neighbor's rooster, they just got dumbfounded by hearing that by osmosis. I mean, you have that in your movie, but the driving is what bothers you. Okay, Rob Zombie. But fuck his movies. I don't think he's that good of a director. He's a worse writer. Worse writer. And his Halloween films, I think, are two of the worst. I badmouth Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills, in my opinion, for good reason, but they're still better than Rob Zombie's crap. Here's Nurse Marion, who did not play a big role in this, but for some reason they brought her back. Howard H2O made sense because it was a means to the end to find where Jamie Lee Curtis's character was, and Donald Pleasence was no longer around, so okay. But yeah, in Halloween Kills, it's like, why is she back? She shared no scenes with anybody. This is not supposed to take place near fucking Haddonfield. That's why they take the he steals a car and it's like a long drive there, and I didn't. They don't let him wander around in the fucking rain. But Donald Pleasence did such a great job as Dr. Loomis, because you have this older actor who's not sleepwalking, he's not phoning it in. Like his eyes, you believe that he's worried, he's a bit scared. And you don't have that a lot in horror films nowadays. It's either we gotta have someone young, or we gotta have, I don't know what to even explain anymore with the way movies are. And then with a low budget, you have to try to have this car crash. And this is a scene that they literally rip off for Halloween Kills. Literally the same bit. And that's like the only thing people remember with this character, is that one bit. I mean, I'm sorry to the actress. Anybody could have played your role. Anybody. And as Dr. Loomis says, the evil is gone. Not him. Not he is gone. The evil is gone. And that plays into the mysterious angle of Michael Myers. And throughout this film, other than the one guy he kills on the way, that Dr. Loomis doesn't really find the body, the camera does. But he'll kill like 3 people. Jamie Lee Curtis's 2 friends, and one of them had a boyfriend. 3 people. But then, remember, like 40 years later, this entire town is going to be so scared of a, probably at this point, 60, 70-year-old serial killer. Which I understand being worried, of course. But no, he's not even back yet. That's my point. It's like, they're still scared of, not even scared, but just, they've been, I mean, I can't even understand maybe Anthony Michael Hall's character, because, you know, you're being babysat and then there's a killer. I can understand that. But you know what? You move. Why I mentioned that. They don't just move on. They don't even move from the town. Now, this is one of those things I always thought was weird, that this takes place in Illinois, but I don't think a single Halloween film has ever actually been filmed in Illinois. They were filmed in California, because here they do a decent enough job hiding it, but if you look, like, way back there's a palm tree. Way back there in the street, you see a palm tree. I don't think there's any palm trees in Illinois. I've never been to Illinois, but, I mean, they did the best they could. But, and obviously because low budget, it's easier to shoot in California. Movie Central, but even later on, like, they either shot in Texas with a Halloween 4 and 5, but, like, they would never shoot in Illinois. Which I always thought was weird. Like, how about you shoot, if the film takes place in Illinois, how about you actually shoot in Illinois once? But I always thought that was a bit. So yeah, if you do watch carefully, there are times where you do see a palm tree in the background. But yeah, John Carpenter is my favorite director. I deem that because I look at his filmography and I'm like, most of his films I either like or love. And see, that's the Shape. The Shape is the guy who watches and creeps around and like studies, waits for his move. At Halloween Kills, it was like, hey, it's Jason Voorhees. And I'm like, well, if I want to see Jason Voorhees, I'll see Jason Voorhees. Michael Myers, if when you do that, then it's like, wow, there really is no difference between the two. So when people go, they're the same guy, Halloween Kills is like you're trying to prove the point that they're the same when they're not. But yeah, Donald Pleasence, his character, always has this frenzied look because he knows what they're dealing with. No one wants to believe him. He was doing very well last night. I didn't. Donald Pleasence is easily, for me, one of the best parts of the film. And when he was gone, I think Halloween franchise was gone. Because yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis does a good job, but Donald Pleasence, to me, was just as essential, perhaps even more essential to a point. And when you don't have Donald Pleasence, then to me it's not Halloween anymore. That's why to me, Halloween, Halloween 2, I think they're, Halloween 2 I think is the best, in my opinion. It's my favorite because it took the elements of Halloween 2, but I also like the hospital setting. It has I think, a great finale that ends it. Like, ends it with a bang. But you also got your kills as well. I actually like the brother and sister angle. I actually like that idea. If you have to give a reason, to me that reason is more understandable. People go, yeah, she got picked up, she moved in with another family. They didn't want her to move too far because as a kid, maybe it's her wanting to, her parents are nearby, people are nearby. Like if you have to create a little bit of backstory, I think that's better than what the fuck they're doing with this new one, where she wasn't even with he wasn't even after Laurie Strode. It was just by bad luck. And they even made the bully into her character in Halloween Kills. Like, I don't give a fuck about the bully being a fucking character. Or they have like Lonnie, get your ass away from there. We'll see that later, but see, like, that to me is almost like the Remember Barry stuff. Plus, it depends if the movie's worth a shit too. But I'm going off track. And we have this tracking shot. Probably following this kid because last time he saw him was with this Laurie Strode. Definitely doing films like Assault on Precinct 13 probably helped in these, say, almost stalking sequences. Hey kid, want to ride? Don't ride with strangers. You want a lollipop? Oh my god, it's Victor Salva driving. Yeah, Haddonfield, they're 70 miles away. So, again, Nurse Marion, like, why the fuck is she in that town? Did she move into town or she drove? That's 70 right now. So, I don't know, it could be 90, 100 miles just to go to the state. And see, Dr. Loomis like gets the blame in the sequel, but he's doing the best that he can, and it's not his fault. It's not his fault at all. And this is... Oh yeah, he had to change clothes. This is where he got the garage. This is why he wears the outfit he's wearing, is from a guy who works at a garage. I think this is like the reveal of the dead body, but... And that showcases that it is a car, because that match the rabbit in red that was in the... that was in the car, so... That's why John Carpenter had a shot of these matches. I guess the further showcase, yes, it is him. But I've said this about a lot of stuff. Franchises don't need to go as long as they delve into it. I mentioned before that so many times it's like, what is really that new? Like, I mean, I don't know when this will be uploaded, but recently I got requested to watch The Mandalorian. I don't have Disney Plus, but I found it somewhere else for free to watch. And I really enjoyed it. And yes, there's stuff is like, oh, there's a Tusken Raider and there's a Jawa. So some people go, well, isn't that Remember Berries? But at least it's telling a story of its own. Because I've never seen a lone wolf and cub story about a bounty hunter acting like John Wick, protecting this baby. Like, that right there is already new and different in terms of Star Wars. That's what I mean. Like, that's something cool, fun, unique to Star Wars. But you look at Halloween 2018, there's nothing that cool or unique or different. It's Jamie Lee Curtis, older, worried about Michael Myers, worried about the past, trying to protect her children. Yeah, you mean like Halloween H2O? And here we have two of our victims. Was it Speed kills? Well, yeah, the drug Speed will kill. But, I mean, maybe Michael Myers is a speed addict, and he took offense to that. And then the girl in the middle is PJ Souls. Was it Nancy Loomis, PJ Souls, and Jamie Lee Curtis? PJ Souls in the middle, she was... After this would be in the Bill Murray film Stripes. She's one of the two female MPs, military police, that... She's the one that kind of gets with Bill Murray's character. And she's been in other stuff too, but that's the stuff I remember the most. Is this film and Stripes. But yeah, John Carpenter definitely, with Dean Cundey, had a great handle on the camera. Like pulling back, doing the swerve, following them. Like we had the POV at the beginning of the film. Among many other scenes later. And like I said, John Carpenter, like I said, became my favorite director because I think he has a good track record for the most part. I mean, I love... See, John Carpenter's The Thing would be my favorite. Big Trouble in Little China. See, In and Out the Madness is up there. They Live is up there. Assault on Precinct 13's up there. I like Prince of Darkness. I like Vampires. I like Escape from New York. Starman. And not only is a lot of good movies, but a lot of variety of movies. And that's what I mean, like, you have this just weird, creepy guy just hiding where the hell he wants to. And wherever the hell he wants to. And then to trace a thought process, like, what the fuck is up with this guy? Like, what is he doing? He just likes to watch. Just makes it seem like he's everywhere. Technically, you can explain how he got there, you know, that you wouldn't just call teleportation, but it does give the feeling that he's everywhere. Well, what, do you want them to do the same thing? I want them to not keep making fucking movies. And funny enough, as I'm recording this the other day, I talked to CK, the creepy detective of Deadpit, on the phone. He has this YouTube channel, and he does this midweek obliteration where he talks 30, 45 minutes with someone. And it would have been video, but that's my fault because I have the Android Samsung phone, and for some reason on StreamYard it would not. I would see my face, but I wouldn't hear or see him. So I don't know if it's a browser issue. So I downloaded Firefox on there. Maybe that will work better. But so just my voice on the phone. But we talked a bit. And one of them was Halloween Ends. Because the director, David Gordon Green, says that, well, it's going to be a very different movie where it's going to be reminiscent of John Carpenter's Christine. And there's other stuff that's said about that. I'm like, what the... And then I'm like, oh my god. It's going to be, what, possession? Or it's going to be like an influence of evil? Like Christine the Car influenced Arnie to change her ways? Is this what's going to be like Michael Myers, or the fear, the evil Michael Myers influences Jamie Lee Curtis's granddaughter? Why do I have a feeling that's going to be the case? I could totally be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. The world still keeps turning. But I'm like, what, it's going to be like, oh, well, her mother is dead, and Michael Myers is still out there. Do you remember at the end of Halloween Kills, the granddaughter of Jamie Lee Curtis saw that little boy with, like, the clown costume? I'm like, are they trying to do like Halloween 4 ending? But also, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I guess you just say, let's try to do something different. And he made the joke, like, what are they going to do? Reintroduce Thorn? Yeah, Thorn on our side, Thorn up my ass. I mean... Because the director also said something about, yeah, I wanted every Halloween film to be different and in its own. I'm like, but Halloween Kills was just literally, he goes, he kills stupid person. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. But this one definitely helped John Carpenter's career, and it got The Fog, I think, was next, which I love. The Fog. That is one of my favorite Carpenter films. One of my favorite ghost story movies. I mean, if I had to sit here and think of my top 5 John Carpenter, like I said, The Thing would be number 1, Big Trouble in Little China would be number 2, 3, 4, 5. Assault on Precinct 13 would be up there. The Fog would be in there, and man, that's either In the Month of Madness or They Live. The thing about They Live, I just hate that Roddy Piper's character dies. I hated that. It's a cool moment with the middle finger, but it's like, he didn't need to die. You killed everyone else off. You didn't have to kill him off. But yeah, on the flip side, it's a cool like moment with the middle finger. But it's like, you didn't need to do that. But, and then, I missed it, but the sheriff character, Charles Cyphers, with that line, it's Halloween, everyone's entitled to a good scare. Which, of course, they had to reuse the same fucking line. And it made no sense. That's another thing about remember berries. Like, you're doing stuff, and then it's not making any sense other than, do you remember this? Like, why the fuck would Charles Cypher say that? Like, he would remember this random line he said to Laurie Strode in this film 40 years later? Not, this is for my daughter. Because it's his daughter that gets killed. She's the one who's, well, not here, but before, the one who's driving. But here, but anyway. So here they're looking at Judith Meyer's grave. And this guy's trying to tell this story about... And Loomis is like, I don't want to hear the hacksaw story, buddy. I don't want to hear the hacksaw story. You keep it to yourself. It's like Loomis like, can you stop, man? Can you stop that bullshit? Thank you. I don't need to hear about the, you know, the, I don't know, Illinois hacksaw massacre. And yeah, there's stuff that you could deem, huh? Like, how do you lift? That shit ain't. That shit's heavy. It's heavy to lift. And that gets to the part like, how could a normal man just lift this fucking thing? But then that leads into the ending. He gets shot 6 times, and then he fucking disappears. And then it's up to your imagination. Until the second one, which I think the second one was more of the night he came home, and it was still had that atmosphere and mood of the first film, but then amped up the violence, and you know, I thought had an enjoyable finale, an enjoyable setting. That's what people like don't realize, that when you watch a film, it's all subjective, and we all have different thoughts. You can watch a comedy, one person laughs, one person doesn't. Why? Different sense of humor, it hit you the right or wrong way, unique way, eclectic way. Just how it is. Same with, you know, there are people that will watch Halloween and be like, oh, this is boring, this is slow. To me, I think it's fairly well acted. I think Jamie Lee Curtis does a good job. Like, even, you know, Charles Cypher's here. Donald Pleasence. It's pretty ballsy for Michael Myers to do this in broad daylight. Well, actually, I'm trying to wonder, when did he steal this shit? Because he's had this mask on for quite a while now. So I wonder if he did that, like... Oh, I just wonder how early he did that. And of course, he drives right by behind them. There you go. Right here. Smoking dope. But there you go. She smoked dope, but she didn't die. But yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis, like I said, definitely found success for this. Even though she's not a fan... I say like she's a fan of this movie, but pretty much any other film she does, horror-wise, she just ends up hating anyway. And hey, that's her prerogative. I know someone asked, well, how do you know? On The Fog, the Stream Factory Blu-ray of The Fog, she gets interviewed. Pretty much any film other than Halloween she talked shit about. And I'm trying to remember, I keep saying she talked about Halloween 2. Now, I don't know if she just... It seemed like she just... I don't even remember if she did talk about it now. Maybe I'm getting that mixed up with some of the other movies she talked about. Like The Fog, she thought was lame. Prom Night Terror Train, she didn't really think much of. The Road Game, she didn't even like, which I'm like, really? Road Games is like a really good Hitchcock type of thriller. I would think out of all of them, like, Road Games would get some special, but I don't know. Again, it's funny, like, she talked about Halloween H2O on that documentary on Scream Factory, did a commentary with their director and with Sean Clark in the same room. And then when this new one came out, oh, Halloween H2O sucks. I'm like, well, you weren't saying it sucks when you did the fucking commentary. With Steve Miner there. The director. Wonder how the director felt. Well, okay, Jamie, you did the commentary with me and Sean Clark on Halloween H2O, but now you're saying it sucks because your new one's coming out. If I was Steve Miner, I'd be pissed. He's probably more like, I don't give a fuck. Which, you know, hey, I can't blame him either. I think someone even mentioned probably 10 years later she'd be like, these films suck. But I don't know, maybe it's... I have a feeling she... It's like the Jamie Lee Curtis said with this Halloween Kills. There's an interview that she talked about, it dealt with like... Was it Black Lives Matter? Or I don't know what the fuck it was. Like the riot stuff? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck they were talking about. I really don't. Oh yeah, and the sheriff keeps talking about, oh, you let him out. He didn't let him out. Like, why do people, like, not keep... Like, they don't listen. They got their head up their ass. They keep telling Loomis, why'd you let him out? It's like, I didn't let him out. I wasn't even there. I wasn't even fucking there. That's like if you live at, you know, you're at home and then your store gets robbed and someone gets shot. And then you come in and they start blaming you. I'm like, I wasn't even fucking here. Why'd you shoot him? What the fuck you talking about? Like, he got hungry. Which they had to show that in Halloween Kills as well. Because this time, Halloween Kills, we do see the dead dog. And we see the one cop who's like pontificating about how Haddonfield is a small town or whatever. But wait a minute, the dead dog is downstairs. So actually was that a screw up or was that another dead dog? Because in Halloween Kills, they find the dead dog upstairs. Because there's the room where the rock is thrown through. Yeah, isn't it in this room? Like there's a dead dog. Yeah, in Halloween Kills, there's like a dead dog on the ground. Maybe it's supposed to be another dead dog. But I thought it was supposed to be like, oh, that's supposed to be the dead dog of he got hungry. But, yeah, this is where the rock goes through. Not the rock, I don't know why I said rock, that right there. I don't know why I kept thinking rock. But yeah, in Halloween Kills, that's where like isn't that where the dead, or maybe I'm wrong, but it's Halloween Kills. It's easy for that to leave my fucking brain. Maybe I'm wrong. I apologize if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Oh well. And this is what, you know, Donald Pleasence is able to say these lines and mean it. Out of someone else's mouth, they would sound corny or campy or cheesy, but Donald Pleasence believes in this. He believes with his eyes, with his tone, that he saw the blackest of eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and another 7 trying to keep him locked up, because I realized that what was living behind those boys' eyes was purely and simply evil. In retrospect, yes, it is smart that Loomis didn't fucking... Because the sheriff said we should have this news on radio and TV, and Loomis like, nah, you'll cause pretty much a panic. He was right. Look at Halloween Kills. They create a lot of fucking stupid people who get themselves killed because they don't know what brain cells are. Hello, Mr. Brain Cell. Do you like to meet? No? Okay, goodbye. Hey, Tommy Doyle, you're gonna die in Halloween Kills because you're gonna think you're fucking Negan from Walking Dead, and Michael Myers gonna bash your head open. Think about that. Anytime you see this kid now, you're gonna be stupid, and you'll be played by a weird science guy, and you're gonna get your head smashed, kid. Your head's gonna be smashed like a grape. The true sequel to Halloween. Oh yeah, that's another dog he'll kill. Oh yeah, and this is the little girl, which I know is the little girl, I think it's Kyle Richards or something. She would be in the new one. Whoop-de-fucking-do. She's there to almost get killed by Michael Myers, get attacked, live for the next one. Ah, Ben Tramer. I was surprised they didn't have fucking Ben Tramer in the new one. Because he does get killed in Halloween 2, but Halloween 2 doesn't exist in this, so... Don't worry, I'm sure they'll fucking have Ben Tramer in Halloween Ends. He'll be the hero. Justice for me getting killed in Halloween 2. I'm gonna be the hero now. Ben Tramer. Played by... I don't know. Steven Seagal. Some nice lighting too. I mean, I guess also depends which version of the film you see, because I know, depending which version, they'll alter the lighting a bit. But I'm watching the 35th anniversary edition on the Stream Factory Blu-ray, and the blue lighting, I think, works well. Like the blue lighting outside. I don't know in real life you would have blue lighting like this, but it definitely helps with the mood and atmosphere. Which I didn't really feel any of that in... I keep mentioning Halloween Kills because it just came out a month ago. Michael likes to watch. He's a voyeur. Voyeuristic tendencies. You idiot. Breaking people's flowers and pots and... This is a pothead. Oh yeah, this is where you get the dog and... He's like, fuck your shit, dog. You're not gonna be in the movie K-9 with James Belushi. That popcorn does look pretty good though. I think that's popcorn in the bowl. trying to see, what is she pouring in? Again, like, how do you do that with a dog, but you don't want to hurt the dog? That's probably why it was done in slow motion. It's probably the guy hugging the dog. Okay, teeth filming. When it gets to a moment where the leg kind of goes down, cut. Ah, yeah. The theme from Another World she's watching. Which is one of my favorite 50s movies, honestly. It might be my favorite 1950s sci-fi film, The Theme from Another World. I do really enjoy it. I enjoyed I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the quick responses the characters had with each other, which seemed like what Howard Hawks would do. Just technically didn't direct it, but he pretty much did direct it. And like the characters like spitfire with the dialogue back and forth, snappy dialogue, and I liked the setting. And again, the characters were likable, and the monster it was weird, and it was a quirky idea, but it didn't look too goofy. Well, I think it has one of the great jump scares when they have the monitor, the Geiger counter, and they open it, and it's immediately there. Because there's no music, and the door opens, and oh shit, he's right there. And someone has to duck before they get fucking big smacked. And of course, John Carpenter would do the 1982 The Thing. So he was definitely a fan of the 1950s sci-fi films. Oh, she doing laundry. If this was My Bloody Valentine, she would be in the laundry. But yeah, I mean, Halloween definitely with the success that and inspiration into Friday the 13th, and then Friday the 13th, because that was this was an independent studio that released this. Anya Blondes, who would produce The Fog and other stuff. But Friday the 13th was a big studio, Paramount, and then someone's like, wait a minute. This studio released this small little horror film and made a shit ton of money and they made a lot of profit. Let's do that too. And then, like, every week you would see a slasher film from The Prowler, Terror Train, Prom Night, My Bloody Valentine, Final Exam, whether it be Don't Go in the Woods, or like for years and years. Cut, even to 89, Cutting Class. Although by that point slasher films have pretty much died out. And then you get into the 90s, there were slasher films, but they were not nearly as successful. Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, Jason Goes to Hell, until pretty much Scream. And they had a new era with I Know We Did Last Summer, Urban Legend, Valentine, among many others. And yeah, I do find it ironic how Siskel and Ebert, they praise Halloween, but they hate Friday the 13th. And granted, Halloween is a better movie. Like, here's the thing, Friday the 13th I think is okay. I like the sequels more. Like, I've always thought with Friday the 13th films, the sequels were better than the first one. Well, other than Part 8. Like, Part 1's better than Part 8. But I think Part 2 is better than Part 1. I think Part 4 is better than Part 1. 6 and 7 I like more than Part 1. But Part 7 I got the uncut version. I enjoy... And yeah, I like the first Friday the 13th, but it is a lesser version of Halloween. It was ripped off, inspired by Halloween, but it's a lesser version, because Sean S. Cunningham is it's not John Carpenter. Sean Cunningham was never that director. And I know this is off topic, but Sean S. Cunningham, to me, He's made films I don't mind. The New Kids I didn't mind. Deep Star 6 I don't mind. But he doesn't really have a style. He really doesn't have something that goes, that's Sean S. Cunningham. And his filmography isn't the best. Jolly Time popcorn in a can? Huh. Yeah, that's sort of the fun thing Carpenter was doing, where you get this reveal of Michael Myers and then he disappears, and then it creates a suspense of where is he? Is he around the corner? Is he inside the house? And where did he go? And that's how you create suspense. David Gordon Green, Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills. I don't think it has suspense. Just a lot of fucking stupidity. I mean, that's a film with Will Patton, good actor, in Halloween 2018, gets stabbed in the neck like 3 times, left there for like 3 minutes for the evil doctor to lollygag the fuck around, gets in the car, drives, runs over the sheriff, runs him the fuck over, but then in Halloween Kills, someone finds him, and not only is he alive, but he's able to talk or go, evil must, I'm going to kill him, or whatever the fuck he said. I'm like, what the fuck? But this is films we're supposed to take more seriously. Okay. If it didn't have the Halloween name in it, people would say it's stupid shit. Making a jack-o'-lantern. Bullshit. What the fuck is... I guess the kid is trying to... He's an astronaut? I guess that's his costume? Ben Tramer again. I would not be surprised if they fucking bring in Ben Tramer and Halloween Ends. I'm surprised they didn't yet. Unless they did, I completely forgot. Maybe they did, I completely forgot. Oh well. But yeah, Halloween, the first one I saw was Halloween 2. It was in, back in the day, I lived on a farm, middle of nowhere in Iowa. When we shop, we would have to go into Minnesota. So, I keep thinking it's 20 miles, but it was longer because it took a while to get there. So it was probably like 40 miles or so. And it would be this place called Fairmont, Minnesota. And that's where you had this little mall that wasn't much except On Q, which was a... On Q is pretty much the kind of Sam Goody, that type of thing, where it's just like a bunch of VHS tapes and CDs and magazines and all sorts of entertainment. That's where I found like a VHS tapes, Dawn of the Dead. But then there was also stores like, it wasn't Walmart, it was Kmart, and one called Shopko, Shopko. And in Shopko I saw a VHS of Halloween 2. This is where she gets killed, so. But yeah, Halloween 2, oh, he'll pop up here, there you go. Not gory, not violent, but it does the job. And of course people already know, but that is the William Shatner mask. because there was these Star Trek masks. And it's funny, someone actually asked William Shatner about this, and I don't think he's really seen much of the movies, but which I'm not surprised, but he mentioned how there was a mold that someone had done a mold of his face, which led to these Star Trek masks. That was back in the day. And then someone took that, painted it white, and there you go. That was the Michael Myers mask. Which I will say, they did a nice job recreating in the new Halloween films. I would give them that much. But yeah, Halloween 2, there was a VHS tape with Jamie Lee Curtis on one side, Donald Pleasence on the other, and like the pumpkin in the middle. Halloween 2. And I had not seen the first one, but I still understood what was going on because Halloween 2 begins how this one ends, with Jamie Lee Curtis with the kids, killers coming for them, they run, Donald Pleasence shoots. Although I think they did a screw up where he shoots like 7 times. I swear I hear like 7 gunshots. But then, yeah, really enjoyed the film, and after that, Halloween 3, I think, did its own thing and was moody and atmospheric and creepy. I think then I saw Halloween the first one. I'm like, oh, it's a good movie. Halloween 4, yes, it's a pumped up version of the first one, but still, I like the Danielle Harris. That alone, from her perspective, from a child's perspective, made it a little bit more unique. And her with Ellie Cornell, I thought that was a good chemistry they had with each other. What movie is this with the flying saucer? It's not The Thing. That's not in The Thing. I don't know what movie that is. Oh, this is one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Because Donald Pleasence, like, he's a serious character, but you get to have a little bit of levity, and I always thought it was really funny. As Lonnie, the fucking bully again. You'll get killed too, don't worry, Lonnie. You'll die too. Hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there. I love that he has this smile on his face. That's one of my favorite parts of it. Halloween 5 is a piece of shit movie. Halloween 6, I think, is also a piece of shit movie. Halloween H2O, I like, although it has its flaws. Again, I challenge someone, if someone took Halloween H2O, you change the music, you can even take the music from the Halloween 2018 store, and you do a defake on the Michael Myers mask. So it's consistent, it's always the same mask, and it could be the mask from, again, Halloween 2018 or whatever, Do that, I think you have people praising the film a bit more. I really do. I think you do a couple small changes, it would improve. But no one's going to take that much effort for Halloween H2O. towards PJ Souls, one of the things she says a lot is totally. Beautiful lady. Say a beautiful lady. And this guy here is total 70s. I mean, what the... Is this guy still around? The guy who, this guy here. Because I don't think I've seen interviews with him. So I don't know if he's still around or what the deal is with this guy here with the fucking Coke bottle glasses, which is how it was back in the day. Size of a fucking Coke bottle. Glasses were big back then. Big glasses, big, you know. Never mind. Basically, like I'm sure there are people that watch this and they get bored because it's not a lot of blood and gore. There's really no blood and gore. It's a low body count. Other than, again, the one guy who Michael killed for his clothes. I need your boots and your motorcycle. It's these three. But times change. And my neighbor's rooster apparently feel the same way. All quiet on the Western Front. Well, why do you take the babysitting job? Doyle house, huh? Oh, Doyle rules. Oh, Doyle rules. And, sorry, I'm trying to think of what else to talk about. Because, I mean, what more can you say about Halloween that hasn't already been said? But that is the thing about horror films, is that, they get looked down a lot, but they're the ones that could have the capacity to outlive a lot of the more supposedly higher echelon of movies. Like, look at 1981, there was one month where you had, like, a film with Gene Hackman and Barbra Streisand. I don't even remember what the movie was called, because no one else does either. But like Gene Hackman and Barbra Streisand in a movie together, and it came out and it did nothing. What came out around that same time? A film like My Bloody Valentine and The Funhouse. And those two lived on to get Blu-rays and special features and cult followings, and one got a remake in 3D. My Bloody Valentine was what, 2008, 2009, maybe 2009. The Funhouse, I think at one point they were going to remake it. Could be wrong, but that never came to be. But yeah, it's funny. Siskel and Ebert, they like this movie, but then they hate Friday the 13th. And like I was saying, I like Halloween a lot more, but I don't hate Friday the 13th. And it's like, well, I wonder, just because of the added gore, then that means it's, I don't know, it doesn't matter anymore or something. I don't know. What is it with people having sex scenes and the sex is never that long? I know it's not him, but I always thought this guy looked like Peter Horton from Children of the Corn and that TV show Brimstone. I don't know why though. I don't know why though, but and they said, and he's like, no, it's not. Here we get to the scene that Tom Savini does not like, where just I guess he didn't like the knife hanging him to the door. Which I'm like, again, Friday the 13th, Tom, you had this 50, 60-year-old woman that somehow put Harry Crosby on a door with a fucking arrow in his eye. The woman's like 60, 65 years old, but she was able to do all that as if she's John Rambo. Or like Jason Voorhees if he was part 7. Like, what the hell? Like, but this was too much for you. Okay. Okay, Tom Savini. I mean, if... But it seemed like Tom Savini just wasn't a John Carpenter guy. Like, he likes The Thing because the effects for Rob Bottin, but it seemed like Tom Savini was not a John Carpenter guy, which I'm like, okay. I mean, well, George Romero was a John Carpenter guy. That was always a missed opportunity, like doing an anthology where you have 4 stories, one by John Carpenter, one by Wes Craven, one by George Romero, and one by maybe like Tobe Hooper or something, or Clive Barker. And I think that would have actually worked rather well. I know John Carpenter's not really a fan of anthologies, but he did it for Body Bag, so could do it for that. That's like, George Romero, he did Creepshow. Creepshow's good, but yeah, Two Evil Eyes, yeah. Titties. Yes, I do see someone I like. Now, please, come over here. Come over here. I got your beer right here. The knitting needles we saw there. I mentioned that because they will be used later. So I like that little quick thing to showcase, like, it's not out of the blue. It's not out of nowhere that they came from. There you go. Like I said, it's not a bloody movie at all. It's like the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre. People think it's a lot bloodier than it really is. And that is such a good mask. They definitely picked the right one. Whoever was the final guy to pick that mask, they should get like a raise or something. They should get like a bonus. Like, seriously, the person who picked that mask should get some kind of fucking bonus. Because if it was just some generic looking mask or some generic looking thing, I don't know. I mean, it would not have lasted long. It's like, the pillowcase saying Friday the 13th Part 2. They're like, You know, it worked, but I think it works for that film as like we need something a little bit more. Then you had the hockey mask, and then they kept that. But yeah, really, I would technically you only needed 2 films. I like 3 and 4, although so part of me is like you can keep them as well, but a lot of it's like, goddamn, man, just how it went off the rails. It's like, man, it took him that long to notice that car. How long that car's been parked, and it just took him right now to notice it. That purpose that showcases that Loomis is on the way for when the kids. And we're pretty much getting to the finale, where it's going to be her finding what's going on and then being chased. Because we got like, yeah, with the end credits, like 20 minutes left. So you have the end credits, and then you got, all that jazz. It's Halloween, But yeah, Dean Cundy, the cinematographer, will work on a lot of movies after that. I think he worked on Back to the Future. I think he's worked with Spielberg a few times as well as Robert Zemeckis. Like a lot of big-time directors. He's definitely looked at as one of the best director of photography, cinematographers out there. And that's it. You look at a film like this, it's a good-looking movie for a low-budget film. There's a lot of mood and lighting. Like the blue really does help with the feel of it. And Laurie Strode is not unlikable. She just a normal person, but she has a demeanor that's not aggravating or annoying or atrocious or aggravating. And while I don't really like Jamie Lee Curtis as a person, I don't. I think, I don't know, certain behavior, certain things she says, I'm like, eh. But I do think she's a good actress. I do think that. I'm sure they had a real pain with all these night shoots, because that's one of the, from what I understand, that's one of the pitfalls of low budget shooting, is that it's a real big pain to try to shoot at night, because you gotta light certain way so that people can actually see, so you're not just being blind for the viewer. What the fuck's going on? So you light it a certain way, and if you light it a certain way, will that get into the camera? Will there be a lens flare? Will it be this and that? Will we see enough of her face? Not enough of her face. Like the lighting here, we gotta be able to see Laurie Strode, maybe at times see her face, not be too dark so that people think it's blind. Even when it gets to this point, is there enough light that we could see this and that? Will it be too much light so it seems like it's daytime or day for night? Of course, here's something upstairs. But yeah, the Halloween films definitely ended when Donald Pleasence was gone. It just not the same. And a character like Donald Pleasence was definitely missed in a film like Halloween Kills when you just had... See, Halloween Kills is like, if you took Halloween 2, you make it a lot dumber, and then you don't have Donald Pleasence. And you have no mood or atmosphere. And I'm like, well, people like it, cool. Doesn't mean I have to. Same with any movie. I've said this multiple times with any movie I talk about, with any show I talk about. See it for yourself, make up your own mind. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. Just how it is. Just the way it is. Try to like merchandising if it was... I know there was a video game for Atari, which James Rolfe, the Angry Video Game Nerd, played. Way back for Atari. And then there is kind of a game, but I think it's like a fan game. Short fan game people have made called Halloween the Game. I mean, how but the fact that he survived 6 shots shows that there's something more to him. That's why he was able to bring this heavy ass tombstone up here. I know that's another thing with Halloween Kills, because I was talking about the scene with why is he fucking just stabbing this guy, and people explain, well, it's like this, what he did with Judith Myers here. Like, he's propping the bodies the way he wants to, like this. And also they said, well, he's trying out knives to see which is the sharpest. I'm like, okay, it just seemed weird to me, that's all. There's the reveal. Again, talking about the lighting. I don't know what the fuck Michael Myers was aiming for, though. Like, I'm right behind you, you don't notice. I completely miss you and get here. It's like, that's really shitty aim. I don't know what the fuck was he even aiming for. Like, I could aim for your neck, I could aim for your back. I guess I'm going to aim for your shoulder, and then I missed you. Maybe he's drunk, I don't know. Go home, Michael, you're drunk. There she goes. See, I have her have the hurt leg because of the fall. Arms bleeding. Then this fucking asshole. This asshole just, what, turns the light off? Yeah. What a dick. Should go back and shoot that guy in the face. I've said this before, like, you look at movies back then, like, how things were changed because of technology. Like, you would have a cell phone, you could call on a cell phone. I need to call the police, blah, 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 blah. That probably would be, like, I call the police. The sheriff hears it, Loomis hears it, and that's how they're on the way over here. This fucking kid. This kid taking his sweet ass fucking time. But then that's part of the suspense. Tommy, will you hurry the fuck up? See, this is why you get your head fucking bashed in later on, because you're too fucking slow for the door. See, for being too fucking slow, you get your head bashed in. Exactly. Sneaky son of a bitch, he got in here. He's a sneaky motherfucker. The knitting needles. We've established she was knitting. There you go, right in the neck. But, come on, I can't end that easily, of course not. No, it's not here. I think she does take the knife, yeah. Because at one point she drops the knife. I'm like, don't drop the fucking knife. Yeah, okay, yeah. Don't drop the fucking knife. Keep it there until, like, forever. And that's kind of the thing with Loomis, is pretty much just him trying to play catch-up. And he doesn't really get to interact with anybody. Like, he doesn't get to interact. Like, he's not even the same strain as Michael Myers. He's not in the same strain as Jamie Lee Curtis. And yeah, it's more of the second one where they keep saying they let him out. And he's like, he didn't let him out. So yeah, that's more in the second movie. And pretty much starting here is when Halloween 2, like, how that begins. With her ushering the kids coming out screaming. Loomis sees it. But yeah, exactly. Try and do a smart idea. Try and do a smart idea to fool his ass. But I mean, also the score by John Carpenter, I mean, classic score. I know there's a story about how the movie was shown without the score and people didn't really care for it. But then when they put the score in, then people are like, oh shit. I think the film still works without the score. I don't know why they thought that, but the score definitely amplifies things. But I still think the film works without the score. But at the same time, it's a really good score, so it does work well. But I'm just saying, like, to see the film and be like, oh, this film sucks. I'm like, nah, it doesn't. But the score is a good added bonus to it. No more wire hangers. I'm gonna fucking poke you in the eye. How you come? I poked you in the eye to death. Give me the fucking knife and Shunka da banana. Shunk. There you go. I think she drops the fucking knife again, which that's the one that pissed me off. I'm like, what the fuck? Really? You don't drop the knife again? Again? I think that's the one that made me more mad. Now, in Halloween 2, well, you guys seen Halloween 2? They do like a condensed version of this stuff. But I mean, with the new Halloween films, they made a lot of money. She drops the fucking knife again. And you drop it right near him, too. That's another thing. You drop the knife right fucking near him. Actually, I think it's here. Never mind. It's here. This is where Halloween 2 begins. Sorry. It was here where it begins. Yeah, right here. Yeah. Sorry, my fault. This is where Halloween 2 begins. She tosses these kids here. Yeah, there's them screaming. Michael Myers gets up, and then there's Dr. Loomis. And this thing, you're like, well, why are you just sitting there? And why don't you go downstairs? And why are you sitting there with the body right behind you? Let's just go the fuck downstairs and stuff. And that's the thing, like, you watch this, like, Donald Pleasence and Jamie Lee Curtis never share the screen in the film. Like, they're the two stars, but they never share the screen. That's one of the cool things about the sequel, is that they actually in the same frame. They're in the same frame, talking to each other. That's the only time that has ever happened. Now, I don't know why they showed his face here. I don't think it was needed. Like, right there, you didn't need to show his face. And that's what Tony Moran, who was like the only time he played him is that, and from what I understand, Tony Moran is a fucking idiot. Boom, right off the fucking balcony. See, again, Donald Pleasence and Jamie Lee Curtis, they never shared the screen. So they, I don't even know if they even met each other on this. As a matter of fact, it was. But he's gonna be gone. Holy shit. Apparently there was a shot of this where he's scared, and there's a shot where he, I knew. I guess this is the shot where he's like, I knew it. Yeah, this is a shot is like, I should have known. Like, I knew this was going to happen. Like, in the back of his head. And this is the idea, is that he could be anywhere. He could be anyone. No, I mean... But the heavy breathe is like, where is he? Where is he? He could be anywhere. Maybe he left town. Maybe he left to California. Well, he's in California, but not really, but... But of course, with the ending like that, of course, people will ask for a sequel. And the sequel, I think, is actually rather good. Yeah, again, great score. I even like the lettering in orange. I think that's a good touch for the Halloween aesthetic. Nick Castle was the shape. Nick Castle, he would be a director himself. He would direct The Last Starfighter, among many other films. Dennis the Menace, I think, in the 90s. The Boy Who Could Fly, a few other films. I think he worked on Major Payne, I believe. Could be wrong. But yeah, Halloween's a classic. Halloween, I mean, what more can you say? Like I said, it's a classic. I think it still fairly holds up, and for a low budget, they did a fairly damn good job. It showed that John Carpenter definitely had a great talent and, you know, made a classic. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.